Today we are making the ultimate soft batch peanut butter cookies. If you've missed those classic cookies with the crisp edges and soft gooey middles, then I have the recipe for you. It includes a couple super easy gluten-free baking tricks, so when people enjoy these cookies, they will have no idea that they are actually gluten-free. We are gonna make them in a jiffy. All right, to start, we have one stick, which is 113 grams of melted butter that is still warm. Now, when I make gluten-free cookies, mostly I prefer to use melted butter versus softened butter because it helps coat the gluten-free starches and kind of eliminates that grittiness. The other thing I have is a cup of packed brown sugar, which is 234 grams, and then 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar, which is 150 grams. Now, if you want to adjust the sugar amount, that's completely fine. So if you want to go a little bit less sugar, that works. And then, of course, our peanut butter. I have a cup of peanut butter, which is 258 grams. Now, I am just using regular old school grocery store, Jiffy or Skippy peanut butter works too. If you want to use a natural peanut butter, what I recommend is doing at least a version that is a no-stir version, just because it'll have a smoother consistency and your cookies will turn out better. So just mix everything to combine until it's nice and smooth. And to that, add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and then 2 room temp eggs. And then just mix that again to combine. So normally when you see cookie recipes, they'll have you like whisk together the dry ingredients in a small bowl before adding it to that. I'm too lazy for that. So what I do is I'll add my smaller amounts first. So I'm adding 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And baking soda is good for that chewiness. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And mix that to combine first on low speed before we add our larger amount of gluten-free flour. And now we're gonna add the gluten-free flour. I have 1 3/4 cup, which is 256 grams. Now I am using, get all in there. I am using cup for cup, which I really like with cookies especially because it has cornstarch in there, and cornstarch also gives chewiness. So if you are on team chewy cookie, I highly recommend using cup for cup. And also I feel like it doesn't give the cookies like a gritty texture to it. And then we're just going to mix that to combine. So at this point, you'll notice that the dough is a little bit softer, which is totally fine. We're gonna take care of that. What I recommend is covering it and putting it in the fridge for 30 minutes before baking. So this will also help stiffen up the dough so it's easier to scoop. But when I am testing gluten-free cookie recipes, I will always test the recipe with baking straight away and then chilling the dough, because if I can save a step or time, I will do it. Then I will present all the cookies to my family, and because I could get really into my head about which one's the best, and they give me their honest opinion. And sorry, but chilling the dough won out. It just helps soften that texture a little bit more so you don't have the grittiness. It also gives time for the fat to fully coat those gluten-free starches to make it nice and soft and to incorporate in the dough. All right, our dough's chilled, we're ready to scoop. So normally always I will use a cookie scoop. I love these things. I use them for so much more than just cookies. Today I have a large scoop, which is about 3 tablespoons, but normally I'll make these with a medium scoop, which is about 2 tablespoons. If you don't have it, you can just grab the dough with a regular spoon as well. But the reason I like this is because each cookie is even. So I'll just do like an even amount in this large one. And for these cookies, I'm just gonna portion out the dough and then I'll go back and shape them. Okay, I have the dough portioned out. So, I mean, obviously you could just bake them like this, but I'm gonna roll them into balls. And then I like to make my cookies into like these tall cylinder, like weeble wobble shapes. And the reason why I do that is because then as they bake, they'll bake down into like ridged cookies. So it's just a looks thing, but it'll give strong bakery vibes when you see it. Okay, the other trick for gluten-free cookies that I always test, because like I said, if I can simplify things, I will. I like to bake cookies at 325. I just feel like it extends the baking time a little bit, which gives more time for the fat and the flour to meld. And it kind of, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but like sometimes gluten-free cookies I feel like have this like kind of like real sticky, chewy texture to it. And I feel like that helps eliminate this. So I'm gonna bake these in a 325 oven. Normally they would bake for about 12 to 14 minutes, but since these are like supersized cookies, they'll probably take 14 to 15 minutes to bake. And you're looking for the edges to be set, but the middles to still be soft and slightly underbaked, because remember, we're going for glorious soft batch cookies here. I mean, you know, the only thing that's better than fresh baked peanut butter cookies are fresh baked peanut butter cookies that are dipped in cold milk. Oh my God. You can 100% ask 10 out of 10 people if these cookies are gluten-free, and there is no way anyone would be able to tell. You could just make them this classic way. I also have a peanut butter blossom version that I've made from this. I just use smaller dough and then put a Hershey Kiss on top. You could add chocolate chips. You could add chopped nuts inside. If you want to do like the old school cross-hatched ones, you can roll them in sugar and then use a fork to make the cross-hatch on top. This is like the miracle cookie. You have to make it. You can find the full printable recipe below. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.